In the previous video, I demonstrated the layout of Beijing Quadrangle house in detail. Thousands of miles away, in the hilly area in West Fujian Province, there is a unique Hakka Tulou that incorporated the Beijing Quadrangle style. How did the Beijing style come to this remote Hakka village over a century ago? Did the Beijing style fit Hakka's lifestyle? In this video, I'll continue introducing Chinese culture and the lifestyle of Chinese in different regions through the traditional Chinese houses. In late 19th century, three brothers decided to build a Tulou. The brothers were among the wealthiest in Yongding, the Hakka area in West Fujian Province, a center for tobacco production in China. The brothers established their business producing the slicing tools for tobacco mills and made a lot of money. They wanted to build a luxurious and unique house. They invited their friend, the governor of Tingzhou, to design the house for them. It's a common thing even today for wealthy merchants and politicians to have close relationships. The Tingzhou governor was a Beijinger. He designed the Tulou with his hometown style, which is so different from the traditional Hakka Tulous in this area. No matter rectangle or round, the traditional Tulous have identical units that consist of one room on each floor, and the rooms have the same size. Equality is a key word in Hakka Tulou. However, as I explained in the previous video, the key word in Beijing Quadrangle house is hierarchy. The servants live in the opposite house. Their space is a narrow stripe. The family live in the spacious rooms inside. Most importantly, the outer yard and inner yards are strictly separated by a wall with a gate. The governor of Tingzhou designed the Tulou the same way. There is an outer yard for servants, and it's separated from the inner space. The outer space is also a narrow stripe. Instead of having identical units on each side, the four sides of this Tulou are different. We can borrow the terminology of Beijing Quadrangle house: the opposite house, the wing houses, and the principal house. Rooms in the opposite house and the front section of the wing houses were dorms of servants. There is a wall between the front section and the rear section of the wing house, separating the two. The two sections are accessed from different stairs. The inner yard and outer yard are separated by a hall, and there is a gate next to the hall. This is the side room of the central hall. And here is a bedroom. The rear section of the wing buildings keep the traditional design of a Tulou. Kitchen and dining rooms on the first floor, granaries on the second floor. Hakka used these rooms to store grains and dried farm produce. Rooms on the third floor were bedrooms for unmarried daughters and their maids. The principal house was for the parents and sons to live. It's like a modern apartment building with three identical units. In each unit, there are 6 rooms on each floor. This is the second floor, the top floor, Each brother occupied a section of the house to live with his family. There are 3 corresponding gates in the front. The 3 sections are not completely separated. There are gates in both the outer and inner yards on the wall. This is the front hall, and there are 6 partition doors here. They're open for the VIPs of the house. Remember, in Beijing Quadrangle house, the inner doors on the second gate are also normally shut, and the residents go from the corridor. Usually here is a corridor. Here is the same. These doors would be shut, and the residents enter from the side corridors. This is Chinese mansion style you would see in the traditional houses of aristocrats, government officials, or wealthy merchants. The central hall is the public space for all 3 families. The 5th generation of one of the families just had his wedding ceremony here a few years ago. On the 2nd floor of the hall is a worshipping room that enshrines Guan Yin, a goddess the Hakka people in West Fujian Province believe in. The central section has its own wing buildings behind the central hall. The rooms were also for the unmarried daughters. This is really a well-designed Tulou. Each family member has his or her own place. But soon the brothers realized the house didn't really fit Hakka people who in the past usually lived in a big clan. Hakka Tulous was supposed to be passed from one generation to another. As time goes, the residents went from brothers to cousins to remote clansmen. If each living unit is identical, the redistribution would be fair. But in the case of the quadrangle-style Tulou, it might not be a smooth process to decide who gets the rooms in the opposite building, the principal building, and the wing buildings. Then why did this type of design work in Beijing? That was a question I asked myself, and I came up with an answer. Residents of Beijing Quadrangle houses were royal clansmen or aristocrats, since Beijing was the capital during both Ming and Qing dynasties. The royal or aristocratic titles were hereditary and were usually inherited by the eldest son of the family, just like the title of emperor. In each family, one son would inherit the title as well as the house. The rest of the sons would buy new houses and move out. So there's always one family living in a quadrangle house, and the rooms could keep their original function. It's the same with the palace. Only the crown prince stayed. The rest had to move out at a certain time. The cultural exchange between different regions played an important role for China to stay as a unified country throughout most of its history. People wonder why the centripetal force in China is so strong despite of its vast territory and huge differences among people in different regions. The case in this video showed a centralized government helped. Governors didn't work in their home regions. Instead, they would be appointed by the central government to work in any region in the country and rotate in different regions throughout their career. A Beijinger would be appointed to be the governor of Tingzhou. On the other way around, in an earlier video, I told you the story of a man from Hakka Village passing the imperial exam and being appointed to a position in Gansu Province in West China. The flowing of personnel brought cultural exchange. Education is another factor. To prepare for the imperial exam, everyone learned Chinese history, culture, politics, literature, etc. since a little kid. Being in such a centralized Mandarin system, everyone identified more with the country than with their own region. This is a significant difference between Chinese culture and some other culture in the world. Having realized the downside of Beijing Quadrangle-style Tulou, one of the brothers decided to build a traditional round Tulou for his offspring. He passed away before it was realized, but his son fulfilled his dream. he built a round Tulou near the entrance of the village. This Tulou has 2 circles, forming 8 open yards. In the inner circle, there is a Western-style hall with granite columns. From Beijing style to Western style, this family obviously was open to creative and trendy ideas. But they also stuck to traditions. Behind the Western Hall, on the outer circle, is the Ancestor Hall. The Chinese mission-style halls were ingeniously fit in a round Tulou. The Tulou is divided into 8 sections representing the traditional 8 diagrams. It even has 2 wells on each side to represent the 2 dots in the yin and the yang diagram. Aren't traditional Chinese houses fun to explore? Thanks for watching the video. I'm Yan Yan. I make videos about sites of interest in China and histories and stories behind them. Subscribe to my channel and welcome to check out my other videos about traditional Chinese houses and lifestyle.